wrestling fans to the PW Fan. The PW Fan is a pro wrestling podcast created by fans for the fans. And thank you for joining us. This is episode 77. I'm your host, the grumpy old school wrestling fan, collector, barber, and guitar and screamer of Fallbright. We'll talk about that later. Talk Wrestling, Tim Gilbert. And I'm back and healthy, guys. I was out sick. We were all out sick.
And I'm your host, the Architect Pro Wrestling Podcast, Funko Pop collector, Steelers fan, and yes, I am healthy again, too. I was out with a sinus infection. Booker, Andy.
I'm also your host, the no-selling wrestling indie fan and football lover, Jeremy. Almost back to healthy, not quite. I still have a cough, but I'm getting there.
We got plowed through, guys. We all got sick.
Usually we can do it like at least two of us, but all of us were kind of.
So two weeks ago, or like like last month, I got the stomach bug that everybody was getting, like the 24-hour. It just destroys you. Well,
yeah, that was horrible.
I think it's two different things. So I got that, and then my whole family got that. My wife and my daughter went through the whole house, and then last week when we were out. Because we thought we were just going to take the day, and I said, we're going to be a day behind, and then we ended up being a week off. But I had what the doctor said was influenza B, so I had, I guess the less severe flu, but still the flu. And then on top of that, in both my eyes, I had some gnarly pink eye. It just was awful.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and I don't know if, I'm a barber, so, I'm touching people, and then, I might have rubbed my eye, and I also have a 2-year-old, but I don't know. It's annoying because, let's hypothetically say I do 12 haircuts a day. That's at least 12 hand washings right there because I'm going to wash my hands before every time, obviously. Because the doctor was like, just make sure you're washing your hands a little bit more. I was like, man, I'm slightly offended.
What doctor are you going to?
I was just like,
it talks like that.
He said, hey, listen, boss. You're going to need to wash your hands a little bit more. But anyway.
I don't know if I trust that doctor.
That was my sick journey. Andy, you said you had a sinus infection?
Yeah, my mom gave it to me. She had it last week. I thought I was in the clear, and then it hit me.
I don't know if you can give someone a sinus infection. I think sounds like she was just sick. Sounds like she was just sick and then got you sick.
or I mean, that's what I ended up. It was all everything up here, just stuff.
Yeah, it's congested.
Yellow, phlegm.
Oh. We don't need the details, but
yeah, COVID.
Yeah. Whatever you want to call it, man. No, not COVID. Oh my god.
Yeah, and I just have this. I was gonna say I just have this annoying cough still. I've been coughing for a month straight right now.
Long COVID.
Well, I am glad because with all the sickness, I did lose my. If anybody doesn't know, I do play in a. Let's just call it a heavy metal band for time and lack of a better term's sake. Metalcore for those that maybe are a little bit more in the scene. But I do screaming. I scream and I play guitar. And I lost my voice because I was sick. And I have 2 big shows coming up. First time playing live in 10 years. And I was freaking out because I don't have my voice. Well, I'm happy to say that my voice is back. So, if you live near Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, April 1st at HMAC, my band Fallbright is opening for the band Kingsman, and then which is a heavy metal band. And then April 14th in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which is our home base, which is the band's home base. This isn't where the podcast is from. I don't want you freaks to find out where we live. But if you want to...
Freaks. Guys,
couple freaks. But if you want to come see Fallbright play in Lancaster, we are playing with a band called Tiny Moving Parts, which is a big deal and pretty cool for us. That's going to be probably the biggest show I've ever played. Besides, I opened one time for
What's
this
the
band,
venue?
Poison the Well. It is the Lancaster Convention Center in Room A. Something hall.
Cool.
Yeah. But, all right. Enough plugging. So let me just say this before we get started on today's episode. When you guys go to YouTube and you search for us and find the PW Fan, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. we would really like this pod to keep growing, and as the years go on, make this thing as big as possible. So we got t-shirts on ProWrestlingTees.com / the PW fan, 5 different shirt designs. And for all other social media, you can find us by searching at the PW fan, where, like I said before, we kindly ask that you follow, like, subscribe, leave a review, leave a hate comment, tell me mean things about me, make it hurt. All right. Anyway, Andy, I'm going to pass it over to you and let you take it from here, buddy.
You want to let them know what we're talking about this week?
Well, yeah, I guess I could run through the format.
You guess so?
Yeah. So today we are going to be talking about Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes in an AEW Dream Match, WrestleMania predictions, and more. I'm excited to talk about this new the comments CM Punk has made, and Moxley is going to make comments on it apparently coming up. So,
yes. Before you hopped on, me and Jeremy made sure that we're going to talk about it later on in the show. We're going to be talking about that CM Punk comment, and then maybe next week we can talk about what Mox says about it. So let's get this started, though.
Yep.
All right. Raw this week opened up with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens came out, opened up Raw, and then right behind him, Sami Zayn came out. They basically explained their situation of how they got to where they're at now as a team. And they said, I think we know what comes next, and they stare at the WrestleMania sign, and then out come the Usos. And they talk about backstabbing, and Kevin Owens ends up saying, we all know where this is going. And then he says, Jimmy, you and your brother against me and my brother, which was that was cool to hear Kevin Owens say that. Me and my brother for the Universal Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania. Jimmy Uso didn't want to give them a match, but Jay says this might be our one shot to put Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens' problem in the dirt. So both teams end up brawling. The Usos grab chairs. Roman, Solo, and Heyman pull up in the parking garage, which is shown on the Titantron. And then the Usos end up going to the back after, I think Kevin and Sami got the best of them during that whole thing. So that's how the show opened. I thought it was a strong open, but shortly after, after a commercial break, Roman tells the Bloodline to get out of the locker room except for Jay. Roman hasn't seen Jay since the Rumble, if you guys remember. This is the first time they've actually been in the same room. Yeah, so he confronts Jay and he just simply says, are you with us? Are you Bloodline? Are you still my family? And so I believe Jay says yes, or maybe doesn't answer him. I don't remember, but I thought he says yes. Because then I think he leaves. I think he leaves, and Heyman's like, "Did you get your answers?" And he's like, "Yeah." So,
do you think there's a chance that he turns on at WrestleMania, so then KO and Sami win?
I don't know. Let's talk about that because Cody mentioned something like that possibly happening. So when we get to the Cody Roman stuff, there was a Fatal 4-Way tag match. I guess announced in full. So we missed last week, and they announced there's going to be Fatal 4-Way tag team matches, one for women and one for men at Mania. I don't know if they're the kickoff matches, but they started doing tournament stuff for the women, but the males they just announced in full. So this is what the male is looking like. It's the Street Profits versus Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus Alpha Academy versus Viking Raiders. So 2 teams from each respective shows. So that's what's going on with the males. We'll talk about the women's in a little bit. But we had an Impulsive TV segment. And, man, people fucking hate Logan Paul. Sorry. If I cuss, then that gets us... Well, we're not making money, so can we get demonetized? I don't know. But, so we had Logan Paul does Impulsive, the podcast, so we had Impulsive TV. And he said, the crowd's booing. He says, whether we like it, us, the fans that is, whether we like it or not, he can do it all and is that good. And he started talking about how it's hard to be scared of a guy named Seth. Guys named Seth are usually nice guys, and this part wasn't very good. But he plays his knockout to Seth the other week on the Titantron, and then Logan's mic turns off, and then the camera goes to Seth in the production truck, who apparently cut Logan's mic. And Seth comes out to the ring, and he takes down Logan, and they start brawling outside the ring. And Logan hits him with a knockout punch yet again. So, I gotta say, Seth has to win this freaking match.
He does.
I understand beating The Miz, in a match, and then losing to Roman makes sense. You're gonna just hurt Seth, who's around all the time, if he loses compared to Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Who...
And Seth is on fire right now, too.
Seth's on fire. He's lost almost every, feud since Mania with Cody coming back.
Yeah. And people still love him, though.
And before that, he was losing to Edge, the feud for the most part, and people still love him. I think he should win, though. If Logan wins, I'll be disappointed, because I don't think he should.
Yeah.
But, unless, I was talking to this with my friend, it would only be fine if Seth lost, because it wouldn't hurt him if Jake Paul got involved.
Yeah, cheated to
Be
win.
the only thing, and then it wouldn't be a clean win.
Right.
And then Logan
Yeah,
Paul
makes
becomes
sense.
a huge heel. Booker Andy.
Booker.
It's going to happen.
Book it. Has
So we got
everybody
Domino on the
gone-
mic.
Has everybody gone and and purchased their Booker Andy shirt yet?
That's the real question, guys.
Yeah.
Listen,
So much.
Well,
have you
know,
purchased your Booker Andy?
you know where you can get one? ProWrestlingTees.com /the PW fan. Oh, you'll got some great Booker Andy shirts there.
Nice, quick plug.
Nice.
Dominic Mysterio beat Johnny Gargano, unfortunately. And he gets on the mic afterwards, and he says he's not going to stop until he gets what he wants, which kind of reminded me of Batista telling Triple H, "Give me what I want." But he said this Friday at SmackDown, the entire Mysterio family will be there live, even though their last name is not Mysterio. He said he's going to ask his mom for Ray to face him at Mania. That's if Ray can get his balls out of her purse.
Damn.
Terrible line.
Damn.
That's what I'm talking about.
Speaking of damn, Seth's attire tonight looks sick. I like Seth in the white tights and the gold and the black. It's like the White Ranger.
Yeah, the White Ranger vibe.
So we got Roman. Roman says he wants the Usos to take the rest of the night off. So it's just going to be Solo and Heyman with him the rest of the night. We had a big promo video from Edge that was pre-filmed. He's was he surrounded by a bunch of candles? It was a dark setting, I believe.
Yeah, something like that.
He talks about what Hell in a Cell has done to him. He talks about how he was in it with Taker. Did he beat Taker in a Hell in a Cell?
Edge?
Has Edge ever lost a Hell in a Cell? You guys would know better than me because I missed the whole era of.
Tim would know, right?
I would think yes. He definitely has lost a Hell in a Cell. I mean, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
You think?
Do you think he
Yeah.
beat Taker?
No.
You do think he beat Taker?
Let me see. Let me do what's the guy's name
Well,
from the
anyway.
Rogan? What's the guy's name from the Rogan podcast? Jamie?
Jamie. Pull a Jamie real quick.
Pull Jamie.
But as you're looking that up, so he tells Finn to bring his demon. Will Demon Finn come back? Me and Jeremy were talking before Tim hopped on, and because Jeremy said, well, Finn has to win if he's going to beat the demon. I said, well, Roman
No,
beat
what the
Demon
hell?
Finn, and then
But
Jeremy said,
Roman did not beat.
God beat Demon Finn. It was
The phone
God.
just glitched.
That's God. He loosened the turnbuckle.
But yeah, he tells Finn to bring his demon because the devil would like to meet him. Apparently, Edge.
Oh, yeah, so Edge did lose to The Undertaker in 2008.
He lost to him. Okay.
Yeah, I told you.
SummerSlam.
Guys. I knew it.
All right.
I know all.
Rhea Ripley cut a promo on Charlotte Flair. Rhea cut a promo on Charlotte Flair. Damage Control comes out, which leads to a match between Rhea and Bayley. Trish Stratus, Lita, and Becky end up coming out and kind of costing Bayley the win. And so your winner of the match was Rhea Ripley. It was announced that Andy Kaufman, comedian.
Andy,
I
speak
believe
to the
he passed
young
away years and
speak
years
to the young
ago.
people in the audience that don't know who Andy Kaufman is.
Well, Andy Kaufman was
You know what?
comedian.
I'm gonna make this. Just
and-
go watch Jim Carrey and Man on the Moon. You're good. Boom. You got
I like
it.
how Tim was like, "All right, Andy, go ahead and explain it," and then he just starts talking.
Well, or you could watch last week's episode of A&E Legends biography on Jerry Lawler. Andy Kaufman in the wrestling world was the whole reason why he's being inducted is that he had a public feud, or everyone thought it was real with Jerry Lawler. They both were on Letterman. It got national coverage, and it brought a lot of eyes to the wrestling business during the territory days.
Yep.
So he had a match with Lawler. He was his character was really like shitty. He was telling women should be in the kitchen, and that's where they belong. And Jerry Lawler kind of came to their aid. So, but yeah, Jim Carrey, as Tim said, in Man on the Moon, played him, and Jerry Lawler was in that movie as well, playing himself to talk about that old feud. But so he will be. I guess every year they kind of have one celebrity, and I guess this year that would technically be the celebrity. So
Jerry
and
Lawler.
he deserves to be. He actually has had a match.
Jerry
He
Lawler
deserves more
said
than
that.
like Kid Rock or someone. That
Yeah, that's true.
Jerry Lawler said that Jim Carrey, when he was on the Man on the Moon set, was even more annoying in real life than the actual.
Well, he actually liked Andy Kaufman, but Jim
Yeah.
Carrey stayed in character the whole time and was kind of
He
like
was-
terrorizing
And
everyone.
he said he was annoying
Yeah.
as shit.
He was not a fan. He was not a fan of him. So let's get to our main segment. Like Tim said, we were going to be talking about Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. I have a lot of notes on this, and it was a very good way to close out Raw. So let's get into it.
Let's go.
We have Roman, Paul Heyman, Solo Sikoa come out. Cody comes out shortly afterwards. And they have a back and forth promo, which I thought was very good. So Roman says, at one point, once they get going, you didn't want to do the Stardust thing, so you ran away. And what happened? You ran away and you started a company, a promotion that you couldn't get over in, and then you ran away from that.
Damn.
Then you come here, you got over, and your body quit on you.
Damn.
And so after the crowd, gets says some stuff, and Roman comes back. He said, "Your real moment is on April 3rd, because when you wake up, you're gonna have to look in the mirror. You're gonna have to confront that adversity again, not like you used to. Because when you look in the mirror, you're gonna have to make a choice, and I want that choice to be something that your dad would be proud of. Otherwise, you're just gonna do what you always do and run like a little bitch." So now it becomes Cody's turn.
What a
Cody
promo.
says, "You have." Yeah, no. He says you have. Dude, Roman's gotten so good. Think of Roman like
Roman
when he
is
was
so.
with Cena
I-
and
Andy, you and I have said it before.
Cena's
Roman-
like it's called a
Roman just
promo kid.
Roman just locking up is like so good.
What did we say? What a stud.
What a stud! Even
Um,
and all he did
but
was
no,
lock up. We just looked at each other and said, "What a stud!"
At one point, he's having years ago promos with Cena, and he's not doing very well. And Cena's like, "It's called a promo kid. You gotta learn how to do it."
I think that's the
And
moment.
Cody's a very good talker. So
There's
he's like, I need to.
There's moments in
It
wrestling.
could be.
There's moments in wrestling that I think is the moment that either starts something like the Stone Cold thing where he just said off the randomly like the Austin 316 whipped your ass. I think John Cena roasting him like that. Since then, there was like a fire lit underneath. And then was that after? No. So that was before he got diagnosed with cancer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was
Right.
before.
So then he comes back as a baby face.
That was the year Roman went on to Mania to beat Triple H.
I mean, and that's the other thing. Like, what a guy. Like, it's great. I mean, he comes back, beats cancer, comes back. People are excited. You're obviously going to cheer for the guy because how can you not? That's like a fucking awesome, amazing, marvelous, miracle, big deal. And he still somehow turned the people against him. I'm like, dang, that's good.
Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think we always wanted Roman to, we were already booing him. We wanted him to go heel, and he did. And when he did, he shined. So,
Yeah.
So Cody, it's now Cody's turn on the mic. He says, "You have to know what Roman is saying right now is true. I did run away. Business broke my heart. I met adversity, and I ran away. I don't hear a lot of people complaining, though, because what I did while I ran away made it so that 100% of every locker room can make a lot more money. So I'm not really worried about it."
That's a good line.
Which is true.
Yeah.
Him running away did do that, for a lot of people. And Roman talks about, he says, you're just a professional wrestler like your daddy, He said, "I tried to be a superstar." He's like, "I was WWE, born and bred." And he said, maybe he's just a good old-fashioned professional wrestler, likes the blood on his face. And he said he doesn't want to hear Dusty's name again before Mania because he won't be there and Dustin is working elsewhere. But he says his Cuban mom would tell him to knock Roman
where's
out
Lana working?
When he's down for good. Lana?
Yeah, there's Cody Rhodes, there's Dustin Rhodes, there's Dusty Rhodes, and then there's Lana Rhodes.
Yeah, they're all related.
They're all related.
Cody says his Cuban mom would tell him to knock Roman out or knock that boy out, and when he was down, hit him again for good measure. And then he told Lana Rose.
He told Lana Rhodes. Oh, all right. Whoa.
You wanted to go there. Too.
PG. Keep her PG, Hoss.
He says, "What April 3rd?" He said, "I want to know what April 3rd will mean for Roman, and he'll have to remember what it's like to lose, what it's like to have those titles." He said, "And then Jay's gonna leave you, and then because Jay leaves you, Jimmy will leave you too." And then he looks at Solo and he says, he's been eyeing him all night, or doesn't know why he's been eyeing him all night, and he compares Solo next to Roman. Like Cody next to Randy. And so he said, Solo, just like him, he said, Solo isn't ready even if he thinks he is. Because Cody at the time thought that he was ready. He said, and then Solo leaves you too. And when Solo leaves, this man, and he points to Heyman, he said he becomes an advocate again. Is that saying he's going back to Brock? Once Roman loses the titles, he'll have no use for Roman, basically. That's what he said.
Like
he becomes an advocate again. He said, so there you'll be, a man without a family, a Roman with no more reigns, and a chief without a tribe. And the best part about Cody in this promo part is the way Roman's selling it. Roman's selling it like he's scared, like he's thinking about what Cody's saying, and that he's afraid Cody might be right if after all of this. Everything is shown on Roman's face during this whole promo. So the crowd's chanting Cody. Roman walks out. It's just Solo in the ring, and Solo and Cody are face to face, and Solo starts to leave. And Cody said, "It's like I said, I knew you weren't ready." And Cody ends up stopping Solo's attack after Solo gets pissed, and I guess he tries to do a kick or a Samoan spike, one of the two.
Yeah.
But he stops it.
Samoan bulldozer.
Oh, no, he stops it. He stops a kick, and then he goes for a Samoan spike, and Roman stops Solo from doing that. And then Raw goes off the air. So, very good segment to end the show. Very good way to get, if you weren't already hyped for their match, very good way for that. I didn't talk about, though, I completely missed over what I wanted to talk about before Raw. So before we go further, Bray Wyatt's status. Bray Wyatt and Bobby Lashley. Doesn't look like it's happening right now.
Haven't heard anything.
They keep saying Bray's out with a physical issue, but no one says what it is. Apparently not even people on creative know what's going on. But I think they're still trying to get Bobby on. Who replaces? Yeah.
It makes sense to have Bobby still. Exactly.
Put LA on there. I think I saw Matt Cardona wanted, he's like, put me on there.
LA Knight could do it easily.
I think LA Knight could do it, but then there's no story and it's just a match. But I think
but he can talk you into it.
Better talk it in this Friday. coming
I
up.
know.
It's Friday's the last day.
But he's already in the Battle Royal now, so.
So who knows what's going on? I guess we'll find out more. Maybe that match is off the card. I don't know.
Yeah.
Second thing is Baltimore's own Stacy Keibler. It was announced today for the Hall of Fame.
George
Nice.
Clooney.
I don't understand what that means, but
He was with her for a while. He tapped it.
was he?
Yes.
Was he?
What?
Did I say that out loud? Yes. Yes, it's true.
Clown.
You're just like George Clooney.
George Clooney.
Was she a Nitro girl?
Yes. She was also a Ravens
Sasha.
cheerleader.
The hottest of
She
the
was
hottest
also
Nitro
with David
girls.
Flair. Sasha.
I have your poster at home. Is it this one? No.
No.
This one? He's like, it's this one. It's like- he gets on the hood of the car.
I'm. It's not the classic show of the week, but if anybody hasn't seen Ready to Rumble, it's the worst, best wrestling
You mention
movie
it
of
a
all time.
lot. So.
We reference it frequently. It's the best.
My dad says wrestling's for pussies.
King. He's the bestler. Better than all the wrestlers. It's terrible.
All right. How do we get into that from Stacy Keibler? Anyway,
So AEW.
yeah. So let's get into Dynamite. The Young Bucks are attacked. Jesus Christ. Sorry, guys. The Young Bucks are attacked before the show, and that's kind of it's threaded into the whole night. Basically, it'll pop up later. But
Hangman went with
Hangman went with
Nick.
yeah, in the ambulance, and Kenny and Don Callis are kind of just left to themselves. FTR come out after the Guns win over Top Flight, and they challenge the Guns to a match for the AEW titles. At first, the Guns say no, that they've already beaten them. And then Dax specifically says, if the Guns win, FTR will leave AEW. The Guns say deal, they spin FTR's face, and they run out of the ring. Well, we know FTR is probably winning then.
Well, I mean, do you think their contracts are up at the end of April?
I don't know. Google it, Jamie.
No, I think they. I think they are. I think there's a lot of contracts up at the end of April, actually, and we'll have to recap next week with
The FTRs?
Maybe we'll get a list. I suppose I could pull a Jamie and look. What else am I good for? Let me see.
So as Tim's looking that up, we had Adam Cole. He's in the ring talking about his return, which I believe is this week, coming up this Wednesday.
This Wednesday, yeah.
Return to the competition. He doesn't know who he's going to face. I was a little disappointed with this, but Daniel Garcia comes out. They have a back and forth promo. Daniel Garcia ends up saying he's the best professional wrestler, and then he stops himself and he says, sports entertainer. So it looks like Daniel Garcia versus Adam Cole next week is happening. Daniel Garcia is such a stooge. But speaking of stooges, we'll get into calling people stooges later. The Blackpool
That's a
Comic
good
Club
transition.
attacks Stu Grayson backstage of the Dark Order.
They're
It's kind of
according to Forbes Online, which is maybe not the best wrestling source, but still notable. An actual site. So that their contracts will be up in April, and this article is called FTR's 2023 free agency is a preview of huge 2024 signing spree in AEW or in WWE and in AEW. So it's an article basically about how when all these people from AEW's contracts is up, it's going to be crazy to see who goes where, who stays, who moves.
You're going to have FTR's
Yeah.
last match against the Guns.
I know.
Oh, no.
Tony Khan doesn't care
alright.
about that kind of stuff.
Anyway,
Unless it
back to
happened
the
in
show.
Ring of Honor in like 2006. He's like,
He's like, we won't be in AEW, but we're gonna be with ROH now. Which they could. They could run that entire tag team division. Speaking of, Supercard of Honor is this Friday. The card, I actually want to read it off to you guys because I'm excited.
Well, I know it's
think
Eddie
it looks
Kingston and Claudio.
looks like a really good card from what I've seen. So let's go through some of them. So there's that tag team ladder match. I'm not sure who exactly is in that besides Lucha Bros, the Reach for the Sky ladder match.
Yeah.
Thursday. Sorry, guys. Okay, Supercard of Honor. We got Eddie Kingston and Claudio for the ROH World title. We have, for the ROH television title, Samoa Joe versus Mark Briscoe.
That'd be good.
The Reach for the Sky ladder match is Rush and Drolistico versus The Kingdom versus Lucha Brothers versus Aussie Open versus Top Flight.
who the fuck is Jalistico?
We got... I don't know. He's a luchador, man. For the AAA title, we have El Hijo del Vikingo versus Commander.
Dude, you were trying so
It's not
hard.
Vikingo. It is Vikingo.
I know, but
It
it's
is.
just,
Yeah, you got it. You got
it's
it.
just the way you said it was so funny. You're like, the
my
Kingo. So northeast.
El Hijo del Vikingo versus Commander.
Lino down to Kingo. Go down to Baltimore
Anyway.
and see the Ravens play.
They gonna get some cribs.
She's some
Fucking
crabs.
Lamar Jackson. So that's what I've seen so far for that. Same night, we also have the Hall of Fame after the WWE Hall of Fame after SmackDown. So Friday, there's a lot going on. I don't know when the NXT Stand and Deliver pay-per-view is. I'm sure you guys aren't gonna watch that. Jeremy might.
It's just okay.
Wait, it's on a Friday, isn't it?
You know what's weird?
Probably.
Let me tell you guys a couple.
Could be
things.
this Wednesday
Let me tell you guys a couple things that are weird.
or tomorrow. Could be tomorrow for all I know because
Yeah,
tomorrow's NXT.
Shawn Michaels is my favorite wrestler of all time. He's
Not a good booker.
he's not a great booker, and let me also say
He
this:
won Worst Booker of the Year.
He did.
There's part of me that like, well, I don't know. These are the same people that voted Tony Khan Booker of the Year, so I'm like, can't take much stock in anybody's opinion. But I mean, I'm not saying I'm literally not saying that he's good. But it's just like hard to watch NXT because I used to like it so much, and it's like almost like I don't.
Yeah.
It's almost like I don't trust it. Like I want to give it a shot and like go back and like watch, but I'm like, fool me once, shame on me, or fool me, you know.
Well, we got Braun Breaker versus Carmelo Hayes for the NXT Championship. Braun Breaker's probably going to lose it and get caught up the next night. Then a brawl.
I mean, I do like when I saw that last pay-per-view, Carmelo was actually really good.
Braun was very good. He had a really good match before Adam Cole left with Adam Cole. We also have Johnny Gargano versus Grayson Waller. Because Grayson Waller is the one that took out Johnny Gargano before Johnny left to go have his kid. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of finishing that story. Shawn Michaels came out and brought him back. Yeah, there's a bunch of matches. I think there's like a 5-man ladder match for the champion of the North. Dragon Lee's in that match, so that will be his debut
Champion
match
of the
in
North.
NXT. Champion of the North.
A little throwback for the long-time listeners.
Okay, let's finish Dynamite. We haven't finished Dynamite. All right.
What?
Blackpool
Hey, we're
Combat
having
Club
a good
attack-
time here, yo. Around here, you know,
Hey.
you're rushing the show. Hey.
Blackpool Combat Club attacked Stu Grayson backstage. I think at this point we know that they're the ones that attacked the Bucks. Our main event, Kenny Omega versus El Hijo del Vikingo. You guys like how I said that?
Yep.
Okay.
Can you say it in Maryland? Can you say it in Maryland?
Okay, well, it's the son of the Viking is the freaking name.
Can you say it in Baltimore?
The son of the Viking.
No,
It was
El Hijo.
El
American.
Hijo del Vikingo. Ew. It's like an air siren. Ew.
Let's get some cribs.
And I'm bombing. All right, winner was Kenny Omega.
Bombing.
The Blackpool Combat Club attacks Kenny afterwards. Hangman Page pulls up to the arena driving an ambulance. And I was saying to myself, I was like, this is ridiculous. What do you do, steal an ambulance? And I was like, I can't say anything. Stone Cold Steve Austin did some fucking shit back in the day. So I was like,
And also Kurt Angle stole a milk truck and everything.
I was like, I'm saying it to myself. I was like, I can't say anything because everyone, suspend disbelief. He comes out to the ring. The Blackpool Combat Club leave. Don Fallis takes a bump. Then Kenny thinks that Hangman hurt Don, which he did not. And Kenny kind of gets in Hangman's face, and Kenny and Don leave. So let's talk about the match itself. I was telling Jeremy beforehand. Vikingo's very good. He's a spectacle.
But
this was a dream match for a lot of people. It might not be for everyone. I don't like it when you wait for spots. AEW does it, but so does WWE. Every company does it. I just hate it. And during this match, there was a lot of big spots, and a lot of times, Kenny... It was to showcase Vikingo, okay? And Kenny had to wait a lot of times for it. Now, the spots were crazy. Yes. Did he almost kill himself every time he did a spot? Sure. But they were pretty nuts. Tim sent me a clip of him doing a spot in AAA, which is the exact spot that he did to Kenny through the table. I don't know
Crazy
if you knew
spot.
that, Tim.
I didn't know. I just thought I was
450,
sending
or
you
not
some
450.
GCW garbage.
Well, that GCW garbage
That was
spot
AAA,
was
wasn't it?
Yeah, I
literally
said
on,
it. No, it was GCW that I,
think it
sent
was,
Andy.
I think it was GCW, though. I think the apron said
Oh, was it?
GCW on it. But that exact spot was done to Kenny Omega.
GCW sucks.
Vikingo's very good, I would like to see him against someone like Ray Phoenix or Dante Martin. I just thought he almost broke his neck like 4 times, but Kenny protected him. He protected himself. If there was a better build, I think I would have liked it more, but this was more, the build was the dream match, so I understand why people really liked it. So, Jeremy, you probably loved it.
I did love this match. As soon as it started, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to love this match. I don't know. I just like all of those. Like, he reminded me, I think I was saying before to Andy, like, he kind of reminded me of like a very young Rey Mysterio, how the way he moved around the ring.
I told you before we started that the spots reminded me of Halloween Havoc at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like...
Yeah. I mean, that, like, I don't know what the name of it was. The reverse Hurricane Rana, like, spike, basically.
Yeah.
Like, was just an insane move. Yeah. Like, there's spots that I haven't seen before, I think, from him. So, whenever that happens, I think it's pretty cool.
No, I thought it was good, man. I'm not gonna be your typical, like, I know I just like to joke around, but I thought this was cool, and I thought like the athletic spots were extremely impressive.
Do you think Kenny's gonna go back to being, solo with Don Fallis?
Well, he does have a title match.
I have 2.
Yes,
I think
he has a IWGP US title match against Jeff Cobb this Wednesday.
Yeah.
I forgot he was the champion. I forgot Kenny was the champion of
Little shout out to the King on video, Eddie Guerrero, baby, rest in peace.
Is that Eddie?
Yeah, it's the Funko Pop you bought me. My
you
favorite.
Go to Wikipedia and you go to Dominic. Eddie Guerrero is listed under being his dad. By the way.
Also, I was saying Shawn Michaels is my favorite wrestler. I forgot I was wearing like an old school, like early 2000s, like maybe 2005, 2004, Shawn Michaels shirt. But what I was going to say about Kenny is I think I've mentioned it on the show before. Is like my two favorite incarnations of him is one is like in Japan, leader of the Bullet Club with the aviator sunglasses and the long trench coat and the broom.
Yeah.
I like that Kenny.
That is the cleaner, right? Yeah.
But then I also really liked when he was rocking like the Triple H sideburns and was cutting promos and wearing like purple suits. I like that Kenny. I would not mind to see like more solo heel Kenny.
That's the belt collector is what they called him, right?
I like that Kenny. I was really into that.
I do too. So that's why I asked. I would like to see it. That's when he was actually like cutting like the best promos I've seen him cut.
Because now he went back to being like, you remember when AEW first started and then there was just like, I don't know, that Kenny Omega.
Well, this is like, I've talked about before. I was like, some of these guys, it's like they're just them. They don't have a character. I felt the belt collector was an actual character.
Well, yeah, and he was like a douche.
Just Kenny Omega
cocky.
being Kenny Omega.
And he was cocky, and he was a heel, and like I liked it. And also the heel manager, Don Callis is great in that way.
Don Callis.
Well, he's. Yeah. I mean, he's been.
This is going to be like transition of him from Don Callis probably, because it seems like he's going to figure out that Don Callis is stopping him from joining the elite guys with Hangman, and then eventually he's going to drop Don Callis.
Yeah, I can see that. Do you think he's going to bury him in a concrete crypt?
He didn't kill him. He just made him go away for a little while.
He just went to sleep.
He just disappeared for a while.
Like I watched the clip the other day when Big Show threw Kurt Angle off of like the parking garage.
Dude, Andy, do you remember how much that messed me up as a kid?
We watched it live. We were like, oh.
I swore it was real. I'm like, Mom, the Big Show killed Kurt Angle tonight.
I was like, it was too quick. It was too quick to have a pad down and switch it. It was way too quick. Yeah. Like, forgetting that at that time SmackDown wasn't live. Like,
oh right, yeah. I still remember the time when Vince went into the limo and it exploded.
DX.
That was right. And then Chris.
Oh yeah, that's another time they killed someone.
But the Chris Benoit thing happened like literally a few days later, so they had to like stop the whole Vince dying storyline.
Yeah, then he like appears.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add though to Dynamite before we get into SmackDown?
I've been enjoying Dynamite a little bit more lately. I don't know, man. I would say as a I was hardcore into Dynamite. I mean, I got AEW flags and hats, and I don't know. I might be wearing an AEW hat right now. I don't know. It's all backwards, but after the whole all-out media scrum, my love for AEW kind of died a little bit. I mean, because all the main people left, Kenny and the Bucks and Punk, and without seeing those guys weekly, we kind of saw the same stuff over and over and over. But lately, I've been enjoying the show more. I think I'm kind of like swinging back into
this Wednesday,
getting into it.
Yeah.
This Wednesday after Dynamite, All Access starts. By the way,
I can't wait to. When did we get to talk about the Moxley and CM Punk thing?
Well, Moxley's interview, I think, is
after
tomorrow.
SmackDown. We're going to talk about the CM Punk comic after SmackDown.
Oh, well, yeah. But, like, Moxley's interview with his wife, Renee, isn't, I think, until tomorrow, I think.
So we'll have his response. So let's get into SmackDown then, so we can talk about CM Punk. Instagram post. Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa confront Cody Rhodes to open the show after his win over Ludwig Kaiser. They say Cody's pothole on the road to Mania is his one-on-one match with Solo this coming Raw, which is tonight as we're recording. Cody looks over at Solo at one point and says, "As I said last week, you're not ready." And then he says Roman will find out that he is not ready either. So that concludes that segment. We have Charlotte Flair come out eventually. She cuts a promo about Rhea Ripley because I believe Rhea talked by herself. recently about Charlotte, so Charlotte's starting to basically talk by herself. She talks about respect and insecurities and nepotism, how, she's proud to be a Flair, and, she's not sorry for that at all. We had LA Knight defeating Rey Mysterio due to Dominic's interference. Rey's family's in the front row, his wife and daughter. Dom and Rey come face to face, and Dom ends up saying to his mom, "How does it feel to be married to a loser and a coward?" He says, "Did you know you were married to a deadbeat?" And he said, "Of course you did. You knew you were married, so that means you're a deadbeat mom." And he gets in his mom's face, and Ray's been walking up the ramp this whole time, and he gets in his mom's face, and he tells his mom to shut up. And Ray comes walking over, and Ray punches Dominic, and this crowd
Finally.
popped, dude. This is
No.
I expect people to cheer, because they've been waiting, but, people must really fucking hate Dom, because they were like, well time, Ray. You
Yeah.
hate your son. Put him in his place.
But, dude, I never thought I would say this. If you go back and listen to old episodes of the podcast from last year where Dom starts coming around and we're basically all making fun of him all the time, Dom is one of the better characters on the show. I'm not saying
100%.
I'm not saying he's like burning down the house 5-star or 7-star Meltzer matches, but I'm just saying
He gets you to hate him.
he's
Good.
one of the better characters on the show for sure. Which is so weird because
I think
I'm
he
like,
got better
there's
once he
no
went to
way.
jail.
Well, I just remember at one point being like, "There's no way this is ever going to work." And then somehow,
when he joined the Judgment Day and became dark,
I was like,
you're
Oh
like,
my
this is
God.
awful.
and he might be the best member.
He became a
honestly.
parody of himself, and that's what
And
he became a
embraced
parody
it.
of himself, and that's what made it work. Yeah.
Yeah, and him and Rhea at first, where it was him getting choked out, and then he kind of was a submissive person to her.
He's into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, this crowd really popped, and Ray gets on the mic and said, "You pushed me to do this. You don't disrespect your mother like that. That's my wife." And he accepts the WrestleMania challenge, which I think we talked about was inevitable. There hasn't been any talk about a retirement match, though he is going in the Hall of Fame. Sometimes when people go in the Hall of Fame right before Mania and they're still active, they retire, like Ric Flair did, But hasn't been talked about his contract coming up or anything like that. So,
Yeah. So I guess we'll just maybe see it then with the match.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, everyone fan-wise, I think respects Rey Mysterio and they know what he can do, but I think people are actually have gotten more cheerful of him since this storyline with Dom, because Dom's such a piece of shit. People are kind of behind him again. I don't know. It's cool to see.
Yeah.
So I mentioned before that there's a Fatal 4-Way women's match tag team going to be at WrestleMania. I already talked about the males. Last week, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez qualified. This week, Shotzi and Natalya won their match. And then Ronda and Shayna came out. Ronda's dealing with a broken arm or sprained arm right now, apparently. But
Is she probably going to wrestle with it?
I don't know, but they came out and let everyone know somehow they got added to the match at Mania. So I think for this Friday we'll probably find out the final team to be added. We had a segment of Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, and Gunther contract signing. And, of course, that went off the rails a little bit. Sheamus and Drew really aren't friends anymore. Butch started freaking out, and I think he went after Gunther. And I think they ended up having a match, actually. Which we've seen this match in NXT UK when he lost the belt to Gunther, or to Walter at the time.
Yeah.
Pete Dunne was the former champion, and then he won. And then SmackDown ended with the KO show with his guest Sami Zayn, and the big takeaway from it was, one, I gotta say, those two are funny together, just riffing off each other. But Kevin Owens brings up how he's like, every Mania, I have a Mania shirt, and he pulls out a shirt, and it says like KO Mania or
Wrestle, isn't it Zane?
well
Zania?
on the back it says like something with Hollywood and WrestleMania and KO. But I've heard it's kind of different. It doesn't just say KO Mania, but he just tells him this is the back of the shirt. He's like, I thought this year we do something different. And so the front of the shirt says Wrestlemania.
Yeah.
The back says KO goes Hollywood, and then the front says Wrestlemania.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So the
I like how Sammy opened the T-shirt like he did with the Honorary Uso one too. Mm-hmm. He did it in the same way.
But that'll be a big seller. I know it at WrestleMania for sure. But
it's almost like it's your main event tonight.
I know we were thinking about that before Tim got on. It's probably gonna be Rhea and Charlotte close out the first night, but it really should be the Usos and Kevin and Sammy.
Yeah.
Just from popularity wise, I did find out today. John Cena posted about it. Cena and Austin Theory are opening Mania.
John Cena.
John Cena.
You have a big mouth on you, John.
So
Cena.
the Usos I sent you that video right when he's like, "That's his favorite person to get to laugh."
Yeah.
So good.
He's like, I still have people, and people in the comments are all just like, I literally can't say his name anymore without saying John Cena.
Yeah. John Cena.
You got a big mouth on you, John Cena. And I think it caught Cena off guard, and that's what makes it freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so good. It's one of
Uso-
the best lines ever in WWE.
The Usos attacked afterwards, and that would close out SmackDown. All right, so like Tim said, let's get into the CM Punk stuff. All right.
Here we go.
We got to read the whole quote. Do I have to find it? Did you send it to us in a group chat?
It's on, Twitter
Right,
link.
here it is. So CM Punk posted this on Instagram, right? On a story?
Yeah.
And then deleted it. So I guess someone was... there was a reason why he posted it. There was a rumor talking about...
Dave Meltzer.
Of what? Yeah, but what was
it was
the
Meltzer.
rumor? What did it have to do with
I don't know.
him losing to the squash
I didn't
match?
even hear it. I didn't even hear what Meltzer was saying.
CM Punk wanted to clear the air, so he deleted it shortly after posting this. He said, "Sigh, I wasn't cleared to come back to wrestle yet. Then the plan was to wrestle at the pay-per-view. I sat and listened to Moxley's Rocky 3 idea. I explained how I'd never seen a Rocky movie, and I thought the idea sucked, but if Boss wanted to do it, whatever. He said it wouldn't lose to me. I'd never experienced someone refusing to lose to me. I just laughed. I asked Tony if this is what he wanted. He said yes. He's the boss, so I said okay, but I need to be cleared first. They kept saying it could just be a squash, so I didn't need to be cleared. I scoffed at that. My health is more important. Dave Meltzer is a liar. Jericho is a liar and a stooge. There were plans, but plans always change. But I'll never put a company above my health ever again." Now, tomorrow night, like we said, or tomorrow, Renee's sessions that she does when she interviews people, she's interviewing Mox, and apparently that will be addressed, Mox's side. So, what's your guys' thoughts on this? I thought everyone would get along.
That whole night.
I wish he didn't say anything.
That whole night, though, that pay-per-view, we all were texting. I kept saying, something's weird. Something's weird. They wouldn't have just ended a match like that. I was like, there's got to be more to the story. And, 6 months later, here we are.
You mean the squash match?
Yes. I remember us all texting being like, what the fuck was that? And, all being like, something's up. We were like, something's weird. And then, I don't know.
Yeah. But that is if Moxley had that Rocky 3 idea, as if what Punk was saying, I mean, that is Rocky gets beat and then he comes back, or he gets beat pretty bad, and then he comes back at the end of the movie and wins. So I can see what Moxley was saying. I don't really. It's hard for me to believe that Moxley was so adamant about him winning, not losing to Punk at all.
Well, I figured Mox and CM Punk like each other, but apparently...
That's what I thought, too.
Apparently, no. It'll be
Yeah,
interesting.
they even like ate, like they would like travel together and all this stuff. He would post like photos
Well,
of
if
them.
you remember
I
when
don't know.
Mox was in rehab, Punk came out and talked good things about.
Yeah.
like, everyone should be chanting for Moxley.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll be interested
I don't know,
to
that-
see what Mox says.
Yeah, the thing that was disappointing to me was like it felt like they were getting close to bringing Punk back to AEW, and like they were actually talking, and then this happens, and I'm like, all right, there's probably no chance.
What
now.
did Jericho say? He'll do everything in his power to make sure CM Punk never comes back.
Yeah, well, I think they people were saying like he made that comment with Jericho because he thinks probably Jericho's the one talking to Meltzer, which I'm like, I can see Jericho doing that though.
just have to wait and
Do you
see. I
know,
wanna see what
you know
Moxley
Jim
says.
Ross used to call Meltzer for years.
Meltzer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like watching Jim Ross, and not just him though. It's not fair to just say him. Like, I mean, a lot of the guys did. Like, I remember, like, I think
Yeah.
there was a podcast where they were talking about how Jerry Lawler's wife, Kat, was gonna be fired, and then Jerry was like, "Well, if you fire her, and then I quit," and then Jim Ross was like,
Yeah,
well,
that's in the Jerry Lawler
Yeah.
documentary.
And then apparently Jim Ross was like, "Well, call Meltzer." Like, it's just like a normal thing people
Yeah,
do.
they said it on air. Heyman on air was like, Jerry Lawler left because his wife got fired. And it was just like, oh, he literally just said it on air because he replaced him. All right. You got anything else to add to the CM Punk stuff, or do you want to get into Mania prediction?
No, it's just I'm still holding true. I'm still Team Punk. I still, until I see some real concrete shit that makes me. I am not saying that the dude's a nice guy. If I saw him out, I definitely would not even go over and say what's up or try to like fist bump him or anything. I'd probably leave him alone because I know how he is. I just still don't believe though that all this stuff just came out of thin air. Like there's always more. There's their side, there's their side, and then the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
I do want to mention, because we missed last week, real quick about the segment with MJF's rebar mitzvah and the four pillars, all wanting to go after MJF's title. I thought that was kind of cool. Darby,
And Darby's
Shaq,
line.
Jungle Boy. I mean, they were all talking shit to each other, yeah. What was Darby's line exactly? It was 2 weeks ago.
He was called out. People complaining on Twitter about wanting to get out of their contracts, or they don't like that they're not getting used. And then he made a joke. He's like, "If you don't give me my title match," he's like, "I'm just gonna go complain on Twitter."
And they said something about Sammy and getting engaged again or something like.
Yeah, he's like, "Another 4 months, you'll get engaged again."
I'm just gonna say I feel like this is premature. I feel like you're pulling the gun on you're shooting the gun too early on the whole get the whole four pillars to feud with each other. It feels desperate to me. This should have been something maybe like 3 years from now when they're
MJF's
all...
whole thing is like, I beat all of you guys in the singles matches.
Yeah, but imagine like 2 to 3 years from now when they're all even more over and bigger stars. This whole thing would mean way more.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the
they're probably
company's only been around
MJF might not be here in 2024.
I mean, it's just like the company's only been around 3.5 years, so it's like how can we do the four pillars match already? They're all still new, basically.
Yeah. I mean, but also who else do they have though to feud with MJF?
And that's the thing. Like, if Tony could get his eggs, his ducks in a row and get all this Punk shit
Adam
figured
Cole,
out.
baby.
Where the hell?
That would be nice.
Where's all the where are all these people?
Adam Cole returns.
Well, Adam Cole just came back from a
You notice how
almost career-ending surgery.
But you notice how we don't even talk about Alice or Malachi in a main event way anymore because it's bad booking. It changes your perception.
He's also a trios champion. He's not gonna.
Yeah,
they're
but
not gonna book him
it's
as a singles.
stupid. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I get heated thinking about it. I'm just
I
thinking.
like how Tim started off He's like, I'm getting back into AEW a little bit more, and now he's just like, stupid booking.
Well, now I'm just remembering all the stuff that made me mad with it. It's just like you got these people that should be these big stars, and you got one of them a trios champion. You're sending a bunch of them to ROH. I'm like, ugh. I don't know. I just get frustrated as a fan.
Yeah.
Kenny and MJF never happened. Not once.
Mm-hmm.
Put
I didn't even think about that
in
one.
the suit Kenny Omega against
Yeah.
MJF.
We never got Punk versus Kenny. Should have been a huge match. We never got.
That will never happen now.
We never got Danielson versus CM Punk AEW era.
Versus Punk.
Yeah. I mean, really, Punk was only there for like not even a whole year.
Yeah.
And then he got hurt part of that. I don't know. Andrade. I don't even know what
Andrade.
he's doing. Miro, don't even know what he's doing.
Miro's making movies and TV shows. He
Is
doesn't
that
care
what he's
about
doing?
wrestling.
All right, let's wrap this up and get into WrestleMania predictions. All right, I don't know the order of the card, so this is in no order. This is just like bottom all the way to like our main event that we definitely know. All right, Liv Morgan and never mind. I won't go over the Fatal 4-Ways because some of them aren't even like officially done yet. So, do you guys think Bray Wyatt and Bobby Lashley is happening?
Stupid match
no.
happening. For
You think
no
they
reason.
scrap it or replace Bray?
I think scrap it.
Scrap it completely. Damn, Bobby Lashley not on Mania after like
I
everything
know.
this year. Fuck. I mean, I'm not a huge fan, but still, I think he should be on Mania.
Yeah, it still
over,
sucks
like,
for him, though.
Omos.
Yeah.
Dude, bring back. Maybe AJ will be healed in time and just do AJ and Bobby.
That'd be good.
AJ's
I
like
For
sorry.
that.
AJ's like, sorry, I gotta dye my beard a little bit longer. I'll be back in like 3 months.
Oh, yeah. We won't get into that. I don't want to get into that. Rey Mysterio versus Dominic.
Dominic.
Clean win? Or
Dominique.
because Damian Priest ain't doing nothing at Mania.
He ain't doing nothing, dude.
Yeah.
You're going Dominic, Tim? Who you got?
He's gonna put his son over
I think
for
Dominic
sure.
wins, too.
Dominic.
Yeah, I think Dominic wins it. All right, Edge versus Finn Balor, Hell in a Cell. I think it's going to be Demon Finn. Edge will probably do the freaking Brood thing.
Can I spoil it because I saw it on Raw today?
I had to mute it, so I didn't know what Finn said during his thing.
Yeah, but they did a little like demon
He's
thing at
bringing
the end.
he's bringing the demon. Okay,
Yeah.
so you
I'm
think
gonna
Finn's
show
going
you
over, or-
something you've never seen before. Gets
Tim,
me
who you
every
got,
time.
Finn or Edge?
I'm going Finn.
Finn, because he wouldn't bring the demon character out for it to lose. It would make him look weak.
Well,
I think
unless God comes back.
Well, forgot about God. You never know.
I'm gonna be the odd man.
God's
out,
champion.
Edge. If you both are going with Finn.
God's a heel.
Trish, Lita, and Becky versus Damage Control. I'm gonna go with Trish, Lita, and Becky. They're bringing back these legends for a match.
Yeah, it's not for the titles either, so
No.
yeah, I'm gonna go with them too.
Tim,
Yeah, I agree with you. And they're not going to bring these girls back to do this. And plus, the last time Trish came back, I think she lost to Charlotte. So it's like she's not going to lose again
yes,
twice.
that was.
Yeah,
And Lita lost to Becky.
So if I'm a betting
Saudi
man,
Arabia.
that's right.
if I'm a betting man, I'm going the legends go over.
Austin Theory, John Cena, United States Championship. I say Theory because Cena's not going to stick around and be a champion.
Yeah, theory.
I'm going to
That
go
just makes sense.
100% John Cena.
John Cena? Are you really?
John Cena?
Are you really going John Cena 100%?
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe if it wasn't for a title.
He's going to whoop that ass.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe he can lose it the next night on Raw.
Cena's back, baby. Yeah, Cena, baby. Come on.
Full time, yeah. Gunther versus Drew versus Sheamus, WWE Intercontinental Championship. Sheamus has never won the Intercontinental Championship. It's the only belt he's ever missing.
I don't think he's going to win this one either. I think it's Drew.
Drew?
I think it's going to be...
I think Gunther retains. Big star. Big future.
I'm going to pick...
The Office is so happy with Gunther.
But also, I think Gunther is going to lose, but then this is the other match that I think like Cody will win, and then I think Gunther and Cody for the title.
Oh God!
That's
I would like to see Cody
bad.
and AJ for the title, but call me selfish. By the way, Tim, there's a rumor that they want to make the new title like we have talked about before. One of the ideas is your World Heavyweight title you got behind you.
They're going to bring it back?
I say they do. Possibly. Mm-hmm. That's one of the ideas thrown out there. If they're going to do two titles, I say they do the Wing Eagle as the WWE and then what you have as the...
Why wouldn't they do that? It's the two best... Well,
plus it's trips.
I'm partial to the Ruthless Aggression era Undisputed title, but that's for sentimental reasons with Eddie Guerrero and Brock and other things. But
I think Cody...
The most beautiful belts are the World Heavyweight title and the Winged Eagle. Why would they not be the title?
Not the round Winged Eagle. Not the round Winged Eagle.
No, the one where the wings are like actually... One. Yeah, the one where the wings are actually like... Out, yeah. The one that Bret Hart had.
Yeah. Okay, Brock Lesnar versus Omos.
Lesnar...
I'm going to be so bummed if he loses.
I mean, yeah. Brock's winning this match 100%.
Seth Rollins and Logan Paul.
Better be Seth.
We're going Seth. Tim's going to be like, Logan Paul.
No, I hope it's Seth.
We all hate Logan Paul.
All right. Three more. Bianca Belair versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. I'm going Asuka. Bianca won it last Mania. I'm saying Asuka. You know, Bianca's out of the year. This new version of Asuka, I think she's back to her killer self, like in NXT.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I think
going Asuka.
I think Asuka.
All right, Charlotte Flair versus Rhea. I'm going Rhea.
She's going Rhea. Rumble.
She's being pushed. You know, she's more pushed than the champions are.
Yeah, she needs a title now.
And I think she's more ready for it than she was maybe before when she had it for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
She didn't really seem like she was comfortable on the mic at the time, and
she's ready now.
She would forget. Yeah.
She's seasoned.
Yeah.
All right. Roman versus Cody.
Cody.
I'm going Cody because he's going to have the most pyro in entrance history.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
No, it opens with, instead of him saying that, it goes, "Did you know my dad is Dusty Rhodes?"
Did you know my dad is Dusty Rhodes? Something, something, let's go.
And Cody Rhodes. Yeah.
All right, I'm going with Cody as well. So, what do you guys think of the card this year?
Run to the store, I just ran out of bleach. Whoa.
Now, would you wish The Rock was on it against Roman instead?
I mean, it would have been nice, but I'm good with this.
Oh, you know what's not on here? Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami.
Oh yeah, how did we forget that?
I think when I made the list, it wasn't officially announced yet.
But KO and Sami.
KO and Sami become the new undisputed, and then the bloodline is done. And I think Roman probably takes some time off. He's been nonstop since COVID.
Yeah.
Since
I think they do it the next night too, on Raw. Everything unfolds for the bloodline, and then
the members quit. They're like,
Yeah.
He quits, and then Jimmy's like, you know what, I'm out.
Yeah.
And Solo's just standing there, and he's just like...
He's like, all right.
And then Heyman walks out with Brock after his loss. No, because then we're going to have Backlash, which is basically Mania repeat.
They're rematches.
Yeah. All right. Next episode, guys, it's going to be Mania. You know, I think we'll basically we'll go through really quickly all the other shows, but I think we'll go in depth with Mania. So, yeah, tune in for that next week, everyone. Tim, you want to take us out?
Well, I will take us out, Andrew. Let me say, guys, we all apologize for missing last week, and we know our schedule's been a little sporadic, but thank you so much for coming back and joining us for episode 77. Classic show of the week is Bound for Glory 2010 by TNA Wrestling. Now, you might be saying to yourself...
TNA?
Yeah. Curveball. Now, you guys might be saying to yourself, Tim, I don't have a way to watch TNA Wrestling, and that's okay because this pay-per-view, the full show, is up for free on the Impact Wrestling YouTube channel. And I'm taking you through some of these matches. I'm picking this one because it's just such a weird time period in wrestling. It's the crossover between then and now, and you'll see what I mean here. And it's so weird. But let's go through some of these matches.
TNA was kind of stacked during this period.
Generation Me versus the Motor City Machine Guns. Now, Generation Me is the Young Bucks, if anybody doesn't know. Let me go through, see what else we got here. We got a random Rob Van Dam versus Abyss in a Monsters Ball match. You got the Pope and Kevin Nash and Sting versus Jeff Jarrett. And he has, I'm just trying to see who his partner is. Mick Foley.
Andy's face.
What was his face?
That's awful.
No, but hang on. We're going through
Just
some
confusion.
stuff. Jeff Hardy versus Mr. Anderson versus Kurt Angle is the main event. Gosh.
Mr. Kennedy.
Oh, God,
Mr. Kennedy. I forgot.
It just is, like Andy's saying, it's like such a mess of a pay-per-view that it's like you got to see it. It's just such a weird time period. But yeah, if you want to see some really weird wrestling, go watch that. It should be entertaining, and it's free. And I think that about wraps it up. So, yeah, we will see you guys with our WrestleMania episode for episode 78. Andy, is Lily the official mascot dog of the PW Fan podcast?
I think so.
She is.
There she is. Well, guys, everybody enjoy WrestleMania. Have a great, safe work week. And we will see you all in a few weeks. Well, in a few days. Well, not a few days.
Next week.
We'll see you next week, goddammit. All right. See you.